Jim, what sort of a contract do you think J.D. Martinez is going to command this offseason?
Well, I think the big part of this, and the problem, I think, for anybody is, he's 36 years old, but it's going to be a multi-year deal. And last year, he's had a one-year deal with the Dodgers at $10 million. He put up those kind of numbers. He showed that there's plenty left in the tank. And, he might end up getting a 3-year deal, but I think it's more likely a 2-year deal, somewhere in that $18 to $20 million per year range. He's the guy, though. Like, if you look at the bats that are available, he can't play defense, so you're getting just solely a DH. But this is the guy that goes right in the middle of the lineup. He drove in over 100 runs. He's a great guy in the clubhouse to have around some of your young hitters, too. So J.D. would be the perfect fit, and I think, for the Mets. And I don't think it's all that expensive.
How realistic do you think it is, Andy, that he ends up with the Mets?
Look, Gary, they've talked, the Mets and J.D. Martinez's camp. I can tell you that, but before all you weird aggregators out there and the AI aggregators say Martino, Mets talking to J.D. Martinez, they haven't gotten far down the line with that. No specifics, no contract terms. The Mets are looking at DH as a position that they are sort of tempted to upgrade, and I would say this with their offense generally. Their offense is pretty close to where it's going to end up right now on opening day. DH is a spot where they could add, but they don't want to freeze out Vientos and Stewart on potential DH at bats. This year is all about finding out what you have and trying to play competitive baseball at the same time. So it's a fine line. I would say maybe some days David Stearns is like, yes, J.D. Martinez, I agree with you, Jim Duquette. He's perfect. And other days it's like, let's give Vientos some runway and see if we have anything there. So if Martinez is really affordable and does not command a big multi-year deal, then I could see it. But the Mets are certainly not going to get into bidding against too many other teams for him, given that they want to see what they have, like I said.
Yeah, Andy, I think the last thing you said is probably the key. Look, I think 2 years at a reasonable number, I think makes sense for J.D. Martinez. I like him because he's an RBI guy. He's a very tough out with men in scoring position. He gets big hits. He gets big RBIs. And I think there could be some teaching, and not that you want to have a veteran guy to start teaching the younger guys. You don't want to sign a guy to a multi-year deal for that purpose, but I think he can be productive as a DH. I like Justin Turner as well. I think the fact is Justin doesn't play third base anymore anyway. So if I'm going for a DH, a guy that is going to give you quality at bats, I still think there's a lot in the tank with JD, and he comes up with the big hits. But to your point, Andy, no reason to overspend on him when you got to see what you got out of Vientos, and you got to see what you've got out of all of these guys that they expect to be productive players for them after 2024.
I will say this, though. The Mets have been in need of another bat in that lineup for a couple of years now. And I think adding a J.D. Martinez, even if you're not going all in, even if you're not saying, OK, we're going to be the Dodgers or the Braves, he gives you a legitimate bat in that DH spot if you're going to make some kind of a run in 24.